to turn it over to Brad. He is a inspirational speaker, mindset coach, and he's the creator of, oh freak, now I forgot what it's called. Brad, what is it called again?
Appreciation Academy.
Appreciation Academy. And he gave me access. It's a mindset training like course, and he gave me access to it, and I've been going through it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so freaking good. So I've been like soaking it all up and just super antsy for this call because it's going to be rad. So I'm going to give you all the rest of the time and mute myself so we can hear the goodness.
Alrighty, friends. Can you guys hear me? Is that coming through okay? Sweet. I am beyond pumped to be here, and thank you so much for the opportunity to present to your team, to share this with you guys. I do not take this opportunity lightly. I do not want to go against your trust in any way. Your time is something you don't get back, so I want you to know that I will not betray your trust. This will be so valuable, and you will take away so much to master your mindset that's getting in the way of you becoming the leader that you need to be to achieve incredible things in your life and your business in 2019. Before we start though, just make sure your lines are muted so we're not getting any feedback noise. Turn your phones off of Instagram stories. Just be fully present for the next hour, and I promise it'll make a huge impact in your life. And if your kids are around, put them in the closet, whatever you gotta do, just kidding. But you get the point. Let's be fully present here. And let's start with some participation. There's, 100 people on this call. So I'm excited to see all these goals that are gonna come through. What is a really big goal that you have for 2019? Just type that in the chat box right now. Let's start with some participation. What's a really big goal that you have for 2019? And also, if you have ever experienced the phenomenon of going after a goal with everything you've got, but feeling stuck and not knowing why you haven't been able to get there. And I love all these goals. This is absolutely amazing. Have you guys ever felt that though, like stuck getting to your goals? We're gonna break through that tonight. So the thing about these goals that's up on this chat box right here, there's an amazing thing about making these happen. The amazing thing is that there's a recipe. There's a way to do it. And the cool news is you have one of the best leaders in the entire company teaching you how to do that. So you already know your basic business building activities. You already know that. That's your recipe. But what you might miss is the way you go about using those ingredients in your recipe is what matters. What does that mean? You could invite 1 billion people, but if your mindset is off, you're actually going to repel them without realizing it. You could have the best training for your team in the entire world, but if your mindset is off, they're not going to do anything. In fact, type yes in the chat box if you have ever asked the question to yourself, why isn't my team growing the way I want it to? Just type that big yes into the chat box. I'm excited to see this. There we go. Like, that's from mindset. You're going to learn why that is on this call. You could put hours and hours and hours into support groups for your clients, challenge groups, events, all that stuff. But if your mindset is off, they're gonna feel like a pawn that you're using. So what goes on in your mind, your self-talk, your mindset is by far and above the most important piece out of all of this. And you've heard that before. You've heard you have to do your 10 minutes of PD every day. You know that. But instead of just knowing it, you're going to learn how to apply this when you're at a place in your life, in your business, when things aren't going your way. Because remember, you have this New Year's momentum right now. We want to keep this going all year round. We want to keep this feeling going every single day for the next year. So when things are going away from your goals, when you get that return order, when a coach quits, when things don't go your way, you have the right mindset and strategy to break through that now. So where does negative self-talk come from? That's what we're going to break through tonight. Where do limiting beliefs come from? We're going to break through those as well. I'm going to show you where mine came from with a couple quick stories. And I have a reason for sharing that as I go through them. Think about where you can relate in some way. And you might not be able to relate at all. That's okay. The whole point of it is for you to think about where your limiting beliefs came from. And then after I go through those stories, I'm going to show you how I turned them into an amazing tool for abundance and success so you can do that in your own life and your own business. So as I go through this, just where can you relate? So growing up, I had an emotional roller coaster of a childhood. And it gave me really, really screwed up beliefs about how life is. It screwed with my success and my belief in my own abilities. And I'm curious, type a yes in the chat box if you can relate to the topic of money stress at any point in your life, whether past or present. Type a big yes in the chat box if that's you. Okay, cool. So when I was growing up, there was always a limitation some form of we can't afford that, some form of why the hell did you spend that much money, some form of you spent how much on what? And I remember witnessing screaming matches between my parents daily. It wasn't something where it happened every once in a while. They screamed at each other daily about money, and I didn't quite understand why. And I remember one time, I was probably like 10 years old, and they were having another fight about why the bank account was overdrawn again. And there were swear words being thrown around from both ends. And I go up to my mom, 10 years old, and I go, Mommy, why do you guys always have to fight about stupid money? And in that moment, excuse my language, if there's kids around, muffle their ears, she goes, shut the fuck up, go to your room. I don't need you around me right now. I don't need the opinion of a punk kid. Like, why are you talking to me? That kind of vibe. And in that moment, my dad comes over with a soap dispenser and starts pouring soap on my mom's head, down her neck, down her back. And it was one of those things where it was as close as I ever saw to a physical altercation. It never happened, but that terrified me as a kid. My little brother and I are crying. We don't know what to do. We don't know if we should be mad at mom for saying mean things or mad at dad for taking it up a level. But that memory was ingrained into my head for the rest of my life. And it's because whenever money came up, I hated it. It seemed like every time it came up, someone was about to get punched in the face. And that never happened. But all the stress around it made me hate and fear having it. And it's kind of hard when you want money really bad, but you have limiting beliefs about money. There's a reason why you're not getting it, right? That's what it was for me. And you pair that with seeing like weekly overdrafts and day-to-day fights, never having a peaceful Christmas or birthday, and saying no to vacations all the time because of money, seeing my parents struggle even to this day and eventually get divorced because of money. I believed it was bad. I believe it tore relationships apart. It's one of the reasons that it took me 6 years, the main reason it took me 6 years to propose to her. I was afraid that if we had money and when we got married, it would rip us apart like it did for my parents. And on top of the money, I had an incredibly turbulent relationship with my mom. Raise your hand or actually type in yes so I can see everyone in the chat box if you can relate to a turbulent relationship with a family member in any way at all. Type that in. So relationship with mom, holy shit, guys, like so stressful my entire life. And deep down, she's a very good person. And I love her. And it took me a long time to forgive her for the pain of my past. I didn't realize at the time that she was just angry and sad and loving me in the only way she knew how, which was needing complete control. But I just have this memory drilled into my head like yesterday. And you know when you're a kid and you have like good memories with your family, but the painful ones kind of overtake those memories. You know what I'm talking about? And it's like, those are what dominate your memory bank in your head. So I'd be laughing and joking on the school bus on the way home from school. And I remember my stop would be coming up and I'd get super nervous. And I didn't understand why when I was a kid. My heart would start beating, I'd start sweating, I was really confused. And I'd get off the bus, take my backpack, walk across the lawn, type in the PIN code, open the door, and boom, hit with the smell of cigarette smoke. Just to this day, cigarette smoke equals pain of my past. It's like this automatic trigger. And I'd walk in the door, and sometimes, sure, there was a, hey, sweetie, how's your day? Like, just like any normal mom would. But most of the time, it was a, shut up and go away. Like, why are you talking to me? Like, I don't need you around right now. It's, I'm too busy playing this game on my computer. Like, go up to your room. Like, that was kind of the vibe that I got most days of my childhood, sometimes getting screamed at. And I was so confused because I didn't do anything wrong. And I remember thinking to myself, why doesn't my mom love me? And obviously she did, but there was just no consistency. But as a kid, you don't know what to think. That's just one example. But I grew up craving love, never feeling like I was enough. I never felt worthy. How many of you type yes if you can relate to not feeling like you're enough or not feeling worthy of something, some goal, something, some way in your life? That's how I lived for most of my life. And it screwed with how I lived my life. I'd be like a chameleon. I'd change who I was depending on the peer group that I was in just to feel accepted. I always wanted to be in center of attention and up on stage because it helped me feel like I was enough when smiling eyes were on me. The point is that those were my two biggest limiting beliefs. Not feeling like I'm enough and money is bad. And you might have a different story, but where can you relate? What limiting belief or beliefs do you have now because of something that happened years ago that you haven't forgiven yet? Because when you're little, you are incredibly impressionable, and it's in those times that your belief about yourself and your ability starts to take shape. So the reason I tell you that is because when I started my business 5 years ago in Beachbody, guys, I was a Beachbody coach for 5 years, so I know exactly what you're going through when it comes to challenges you face. When I started my Beachbody coaching business, it didn't matter how many people I invited initially. It didn't matter how many social media posts I put up. It didn't matter how many team calls I created for my team or trainings I created for my team. It didn't matter the content I was putting out there. It was always the same thing. My team wasn't growing to match the effort that I was putting in. I was like, dude, why aren't you doing this? You have all the tools you need. Type yes if you've ever felt like you're forcing your team in some way. And on top of that, my bank account was always overdrafting. My paychecks were a couple $100 a week. I was becoming my parents and I was starting to be angry. And I had this perceived success, but I was just skating by. And I was overdrafting and it was stressing me out. And I was face to face with my deepest fear, which is mediocrity. Face to face with living an average life, not being enough to achieve my dreams. So I had to figure out how to fix it. I went on this journey of changing my entire life. I went on a journey of getting over the limiting beliefs, the negative self-talk that was getting in the way of my true leadership ability and my ability to create amazing things in my life and my business. I became the person that I needed to be to live that life. And that journey led me to the creation of my program Appreciation Academy. That program is how I changed my entire life. We'll talk about that at the end. But I tell you all that because when I tried to build a business, the overwhelming amount of negative self-talk, lack of belief, and secret obstacles that I didn't even realize were going on up here stopped me in my tracks. I created a system to overcome it. We don't have time to go through that whole system in 1 hour, but if you take the rest of this call really seriously, you're going to learn 3 of the major steps that I took to exploding my life. So number 1, write this down. Your thoughts are always the reason. Your thoughts are always the reason. The first thing you can do is change the way you think. And you've heard that. You've heard, change your thinking, change your life. But has anyone actually taught you how to change the negative self-talk that seems to be automatic? I can actually teach you. And we're going to start that process today. So you start to tell yourself these stories, right? Money is bad. Building a team is hard. It's so much easier for Micah. Like, my teammates won't do anything. It's so much easier for this person. I'm not enough. And if you say it enough times, you start to believe it. Have you ever been, for example, at a party and you get to the party and you tell this story and you exaggerate it just so you sound cooler than you actually are? Right? You get to the story, you exaggerate. You know what I'm talking about, or am I crazy? Right? You exaggerate the story, and then so you get a lot of great feedback. So the next time you come back to the party in a couple weeks or a month, I say yes before you finish. I love it. Like you come back to the party a couple weeks later, a month later, and you exaggerate that story again with more conviction. And now it's 5-10 years in the future. You share that story with your friends with so much conviction, so much belief, and you don't even know what part is bullshit and what is not. You know what I'm talking about, or am I crazy, right? The same thing happens with negative self-talk. It starts small and it grows and grows and grows. And instead of it being a fun party topic, it sabotages your whole life. This is your default software that we need to rewire. And you go through life believing this, and it changes everything about the way you lead your life and your business. If you feel like you're forcing people to do things, it comes from your beliefs. Like, have you ever been sitting there on the couch, wanting your life to change so bad, wondering why things aren't growing, and you have no idea how to fix it, and you know you got to be in Success Club, and you just think that if you hit Success Club, it'll happen, but you keep hitting Success Club over and over and over again, but it's not happening, and you're wondering what's going on, and you're sitting there stagnant in volume, rank, paychecks the same or less, not nearly as much growth as you deserve. To change this, you have to believe that you are enough before the evidence of your business says that you're enough. You have to believe that you are enough before the evidence of your business says that you're enough. And you can do that by changing your questions. Write this down. Better questions will change your entire life. Better questions eliminate negative self-talk. Better questions explode your business. Have you ever faced a point where you're trying to convince yourself that you're good enough or that you deserve something great, but you never really actually believe it? Like, you want to believe it, but you just don't. Like, if you do a goal setting exercise and you have written down, earn X $100,000 by this date, or retire my spouse by this date, or buy my dream home, or pay off student debt, all these things on this list. And you look at that list, that sheet of paper, and you're going, that would change my life. That would change everything for me. It would be so amazing. But there's that little voice back here just going, nah, that's never going to happen. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, that little voice just kind of hides back there, just silently whispers doubt into your ear, where you have your vision board, you have your, dream house, you have your debt-free sign, you got all these things up there. There's a little devil sitting on your shoulder just going, dude, that's never going to happen. Just whispering doubt and insignificance into your subconscious mind. You have to change that thinking. And like I said, I can't share it in an hour. That's what my course is for. But I can give you a great tool to start the process. So first, what is thinking? Thinking is nothing more than the process of asking yourself a question. That's all thinking is. So if you focus on asking yourself bad questions, you're going to get really bad answers. If you focus on asking yourself great questions, you're going to get really, really great answers. The mistake I made is I thought I just had to keep hitting Success Club. And yes, you do. You absolutely do. But there comes a point where you're wondering what the heck is going on and why you're not growing. So let's do an example to show you what I mean by focusing on bad questions versus great questions. Look around the room and count the number of things you can find that are red. Ready, go. Look for red, look for red, look for red, look for red. Count the things that are red, look for red, look for red. Micah's chair counts as red, or is that a vest or a racing suit? Counts as red, that counts as red. Look for red, look for red, look for red. Count the things that are red, look for red, look for red, look for red. I think Melissa's got something on the counter right there that counts as red. Look for red, look for red, look for red, look for red. Cool. Awesome. 13 things. Elmo, amazing. How many things did you find that were blue, by the way? No idea. Why? Because you weren't looking for blue, but check this out. Count the number of things in your room right now that you can find that are blue. Ready, go. Look for blue, 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 look for blue. How many more things did you find that were blue? How many of you saw green and go, that's blue, just so you feel successful in this exercise? You found a lot more blue, right? Why? Because you were looking for it. There's a piece of your mind called the reticular activating system, and its primary job is to fizzle out all the things you're not looking for. Have you ever been in the market for a car, and the second you decide you want to buy a 2017 Ford Fusion, everywhere, every stop sign, every street corner, every parking lot, was that car always there, or did it just magically show up? It was always there because you started looking for it. So why do I tell you that? Because when you look for what you don't want, AKA red, those are the seeds of doubt and skepticism and pain. And those thoughts will grow in your mind like weeds. That is, why is it so hard to build my team? That's why am I so fat? That's why am I so broke? That's why am I so stuck? That's why can't I do this? That's why don't I know enough people? Why is it so much easier for this person? That's red. Those are the seeds of doubt and skepticism and pain. And they grow in your mind like weeds. Why? Remember the quote that Jim Rohn said, stand guard at the gates of your mind, or weeds will grow automatically. That's a Jim Rohn quote. What does that mean? That means unless you program your mind to look for blue, AKA what you actually want, you will automatically find negativity. Because what's wrong is what your brain's automatically going to look for. Your brain has no desire in making you happy. Your brain's only job is to make you survive. That's it. It's looking to protect you from pain at all times. Think about it. Millions of years ago, you were survival based. You were worried about the saber-toothed tiger hiding in the bushes that was going to eat your kid. That's what you were worried about years ago. And now, same brain, but all those primal fears are gone. So at any moment in time, your brain is looking for what to protect you from. So whenever it comes to your business, if it's going after a big goal, you might experience pain. That's why your brain's hitting the panic button going, no, dude, I don't think that's a good idea. That's red. So unless you program it to look for blue like Micah has, you will automatically find red. Does that make sense? Let's do an example to show you what I mean. Close your eyes and ask yourself, why am I not enough to build my business? Just ask yourself that. Why am I not enough to build my business? And listen to all the crap that comes out of you. How motivated do you feel when you focus on that? Not at all. And even when you read positive thinking, personal growth books, all this stuff, it doesn't change the fact that there's that little voice in your mind that says you're not good enough. Unless you programmed your mind to look for blue, you're going to start having answers pour out of you. I shared a couple stories a minute ago about where my biggest limiting beliefs came from. What are yours? Like, raise your hand or type yes, actually, in the chat box so I don't get a bunch of hands raised on here. If any of the following sounds somewhat familiar to you, whether past or present. Why isn't my team doing anything? Why can't I get it right? Why don't people want to join me? Why is it so hard to lose weight? Why am I so broke? Why can't I catch a break? Why am I so fat? Why does it seem so much easier for other people? Why can't I do anything right? Will I always be this stuck? How many of you are assholes to yourself like that sometimes? Those are limiting beliefs, disempowering questions. It doesn't feel very good to ask that. It leads to a lot of pain, a lot of procrastination, and there you are sitting, looking at your life, frustrated with the results you're getting, and no matter how much someone tells you that you can have success with your business, no matter how many people tell you they believe in you, no matter how much you see someone else crushing it, there's that little voice. You know what I'm talking about, or am I crazy? So when you set a goal, your dominant beliefs will determine if that goal comes true or not. And setting goals, guys, is nothing more than the process of trying to create a new reality as opposed to your current reality. That's all goal setting is. You're trying to change your reality. The gap in the middle is whether you're looking for red or looking for blue. And until that language is blue, consistently focusing on what you want, you're going to feel stuck. How many of you feel stuck right now? You're going to find yourself struggling to get to your goals. And I know this because I lived it for years. So let's just use the example of why isn't my team growing? You look for an answer when you ask that question. And even if you're successful, you question yourself. That's how insidious it is. But something you need to understand is that your entire life can be changed by asking yourself more empowering questions. Your brain is like a Google search engine. It will answer whatever you type into the search bar. So what if you intentionally reverse what you type into your mental Google? Like, it's going to give you an answer anyways. You might as well ask it a question that's going to lead towards a better life. When you ask, why is it so hard to build my team? What does your brain do? Finds all the reasons why it's so hard to build this business. That's what you focus on. So you never find the answer to your biggest challenges. When you sit down to work, your brain is literally looking for every reason why you're not capable. So you don't send the invites, you scroll Facebook. You don't support your clients in the way you need to. You wonder why more aren't messaging you right now. You don't support and serve your teammates in the same way, that in the best way possible. You try to force them to act, and you check in with them like your mom would the first weekend of college. No wonder you're stuck at Emerald. You force it. And here's what's crazy. There are amazing people and situations and solutions that stumble across your life every single day. But because your mind is so focused on red, aka why it's so hard, self-sabotage steps in. You won't even notice the blue sitting right in front of you. You won't notice that other mom that's at the kid's school that is struggling with high blood pressure, that you could change her entire life with Shakeology or the Ultimate Reset. You won't even notice her. You won't even notice the mom that lives next door, the dad that lives next door, that doesn't know how he's going to pay for his kid's college education. And you're keeping their freedom trapped in your mouth right now because you're focused on red instead of blue, what you want. So let's change it up. Whatever rank you're at, use this for the next rank. So ask yourself this. Why is it so hard to hit Emerald this week? Just try that. Why is it so hard to hit Emerald this week? What happens? You look for an answer. You go, I don't know enough people. I'm not a leader. I don't think I can do this. Like, I don't have a social media following. I'm not pretty enough. All these things going on in your head, right? But what happens when you change it to, why is it so easy to hit Emerald by tomorrow? What happens? You still look for an answer. And even if you're brand new, you start to look for all the answers of why you can do this. You go, oh, it's only 2 people. I can Google that. I can figure out how to invite. I can ask Micah for help. I can ask John and Susie next door. I know they want, to bring in more income for their family. I can Emerald by tomorrow. That's what happens when you change your questions. You still look for an answer, and you start to focus on the opportunities, the people you could reach out to, the sacrifices you could make to build your business. Can you imagine if you fill your mind with just this one step of Appreciation Academy every single day? Just as one out of like 40. Like, how would your life change? And here's the key. You don't need to have the answer to the question you ask. You just need to live in a question that leads you towards the life that you want. Because when you're in the right state of mind and you know what blue is and the direction you want to go, the why is it so easy to blank, or why can't I, or why am I worth it? You know where you're going. You're going to figure out how. I guarantee you that Micah had no idea how the heck to get to her rank and level that she is now when she was a brand new coach. No idea. It was just something she figured out along the way. So you will figure out how when you do this. The how will reveal itself, but live in an empowering question. So write this down. Every problem you face is just an empowering question you haven't asked yourself yet. That's it. Every problem you face is an empowering question you haven't asked yourself yet. So for your life and your business, you're going to write down all the negative stuff you ask yourself all the time. And by the way, this is more than just business. This is your life. I teach people how to be happy in their life because happiness creates success. So you're going to write down everything from your entire life, negative stuff you ask yourself all the time. Why am I so broke? Why is my business not growing? Why am I stuck? Why is my bank account always overdrafting? Why am I so fat? Why does my husband always annoy me? Whatever it is, go through, write down all the disempowering questions, and then you're going to flip them on their head. Turn them into, why is it so easy to blank? Why am I so wealthy? Why can I do this? Why is my business booming? Why am I enough? Why is it so easy to lead my team? Why am I such a great leader? The 2 questions that changed my entire life are, why am I so kind to myself every day? And why am I worthy of living such an amazing life? Guys, life gets 100% easier if you're 1% nicer to yourself. Life gets 100% easier if you're just 1% nicer to yourself. Write that one down. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take those new empowering questions. You're going to put them on Post-it notes all over your house. You're going to record it, listen to it while you're asleep. Flood your mind with empowering questions focusing on blue, what you want. Like, can you think about just how powerful it would be if you had a Post-it note on your car dashboard and the last thing you read on your Post-it note when you got home from work is, why is it so easy to fall in love with my husband again today? Like, could you imagine how your relationship would change? Like, how would you come in the door with passion and enthusiasm and joy instead of being stressed out? How could you leave all those stressors at the door because of one question? Think about that. Or if you had an alarm that went off on your phone 5 minutes before your kids got home from school that says, why is it so easy to be a loving mother today? Or why are my kids so deserving of love today? And that's what happened. That's what you read or what went off on your phone 5 minutes before they got home from school. How would you greet them? How would their lives change forever? Think about that for a second. This will change your life if you use it. This is just one of the steps I took to reversing my negative self-talk. Your life will change. It's a promise. So you're planting new thought seeds and you're watering them daily with a question. And all of a sudden you stop watering the red, disempowering weeds. You let those weeds die in your garden. And now the only plants that you water are the blue ones, metaphorically, right? And now within less time than you think, it's blooming with so many blue plants, giving your life oxygen again. And you know what's awesome about when your life has oxygen and when you feel alive? You start to attract leaders to your life. You start to attract people that want to be part of this. A great example of this is Kim Fitzpatrick or Jamie Fitzpatrick, if you know who they are, right? They just feel magnetic. Your upline, magnetic. Like, people want to be part of it. Why? Because they water the blue flowers. Is this one mindset strategy helpful so far? There's 2 more coming your way. Okay, so number 2, write this down. Your problem is not the problem. How you face your problem is the problem. Your problem isn't the problem. How you face your problem is the problem. So when you are so emotionally attached to a goal coming true, you actually push that goal away from you. Now, don't take that to mean you shouldn't be excited or passionate or get your hopes up about goals. You absolutely should. But what I mean is, when your happiness is dependent on a goal coming true, you're making that goal so much harder to achieve. Type yes if you've ever found yourself pushing so hard for a goal to come true, and no matter how hard you push, it feels like it's getting further away, like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, or just out of reach every time, or like you get to the year end, you do a big push, but you don't quite get to elite or premier or whatever your big goal is, and you wonder why it seems like other people can do it, but you can't. You know what I'm talking about, or am I crazy? It's because you have a death grip to success. It's a this must happen and then I'll be happy. When you think this way and you come up short, which, by the way, like, Micah, not if you've come up short a couple times when setting goals, right? Like, you will come up short when you're setting goals. How do you feel if this is a must happen, or you're screwed if you don't, or you can't be happy until? How do you feel when you don't get to a goal and that's your way of thinking? Anxious energy is a great way to say it. You feel pretty crappy, right? You feel like your self-worth took a little bit of a hit. And let me guess, self-sabotage, getting into a slump, compounding negative self-talk. All these stories in your head are amplified, saying you're not good enough. So you start to believe that you're a bad leader when it's just that story at the party that you have been telling yourself for years and years. So you start to believe it is truth. Does that make sense? When you try to build a business this way, isn't it just incredibly overwhelming and intense and stressful to try to overcome those demons? Like, it feels insurmountable. It feels defeating because you have no idea how to solve it. So you start to accept it. When you can see your challenges just as a question you haven't solved, instead of being responsible for your happiness, the challenges get easier. What does that mean? Huge important note here. And this is the overarching theme for Appreciation Academy. It's not a business course. It's about happiness. Business and success do not cause happiness. Happiness causes business success. Happiness and appreciation for the journey and the challenge is how you overcome the challenge. Shaun T is a prime example of talking about this. Most people don't get that. I didn't. And it's one of the main reasons I stayed stuck. You don't need to find the answer because where you are right now is the answer. When you make where you are right now considered wrong, you're making it so much harder to get to where you want to go. You're making it impossible because life's trying to teach you a lesson. It's going to keep pounding on your head until you listen. So don't resent where you are. Wherever you are with your body, with your business, with your bank account, with your life, that's exactly where you need to be. So write this down. Seeing your current good is the fastest way to increase more good. And seeing your bad is the fastest way to never get to what you want. So step into the common sense corner. If you're God, the universe, whatever you choose to believe in, I'm not here to tell you what to believe, but if you choose to believe in something, and you have person A and person B down in your creation. And person A is always complaining about how they're not where they want to be. They're that person that always feels negative. Like if it rains, they like blame the weather and they complain about it. They're that person that says, why is it so hard to do this? Why can't I do this? Why is it so much easier for other people? Negative Nancy, like that negative person. And then there's person B. And person B is the person that says, this is such a cool challenge. Like I am blown away by what I'm learning here. I'm not at my goals yet, but I'm gonna be. And oh my gosh, it's raining outside. That means the flowers are gonna bloom. This is so cool. What a cool challenge. I dropped in rank. Oh, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? That's person B, right? We'll call her positive, let's do Patty. Positive Patty. That's what we'll call her. And so you have your God, the universe, whatever you believe in. You have negative Nancy and positive Patty, right? That's funny. And so which are you going to give more to? Are you going to give more to the person that's complaining about having less or the person that loves what they already have? Seeing your current good is the fastest way to increase more good. And seeing your current bad is how you stay stuck. This is why the rich get richer, guys. What's awesome about this one skill is it means you don't have to work nearly as hard for exponentially better results, because instead of slamming down on that gas pedal to get to your destination and you're burning out those tires and smoke's going everywhere and you're just death gripping that steering wheel, trying as hard as you can, hitting Success Club as best you can, but you just feel stuck and don't know why you're not going anywhere. And you see all these other cars passing you in your side window going, what the hell am I doing wrong? You realize that what's been going wrong this entire time is literally just that your emergency brake is on. That's it. So to go further faster, you don't need to push down on success harder. You just need to learn how to release the emergency brake of your life. That's my job. That's what I can teach you. Most people try to climb the mountain of success, saying they'll only be happy when they get there. Put your dream on top of a mountain for a second. The problem with that is it's the same thing as making a beeline for the top of Everest with a blindfold on. And if you do that, you're going to trip, you're going to fall, you're going to break a couple bones, fall off a cliff, might die. It's going to take way longer to get up and running if you have that blindfold on and you try to make a beeline for the top. So what if you take that blindfold off and you think it might take longer to get to your goals, but it actually won't because you're just following a trail? Like, what if you appreciate the beauty around you? What if you take breaks when you need to? What if you appreciate the scenery of the climb and you enjoy the journey of getting there? All of a sudden, every part of that hike becomes beautiful, the peak and the hike. And the top becomes more rewarding and way easier to get to because you just got to follow the walking path. Not an Everest, but you get the point. And when you're in a state of this must happen, and then I'll be happy, how does that come off to your team? Desperate. How does it come off in your social media posts? Desperate. How does it come off in your invites, the way you talk to your prospects? Even more importantly, how does it affect your relationship with your husband or wife? And most of you are trying to build a business that way. It's not going to work. So what if you let it go? What if you just chill and be okay and happy either way? What if you take the blindfold off? You decide to love the ups and the downs, the valleys and the peaks. What if you become so committed to getting to your goal and committed to following the trail and loving the climb? What if you go on this hike for the experience of hiking, not just the summit? Wouldn't you be more relaxed, happier, more fulfilled, less hurt by challenges, having more fun? So what if you become tonight, you decide to be committed to your dreams instead of attached? And you no longer have your happiness as a result of something. Your happiness is what causes something. And what if every single day you work hard because of the person you're becoming instead of the goal itself? What if you did it for the growth you'd experience? What if every invite was for growth? If that were the case, even if you get a no, even if you miss Success Club, even if you drop in rank, you just trust that you're following the trail that's leading you to your goal. You learn the lesson life's trying to get you. And when you live that way, you learn something instead of hate something. And when you learn something instead of hate something, Type yes if you would agree that building your business would get way easier if you would learn something from every failure. So like, you know that feeling you have in your heart where you feel like you're forcing things all the time and you're not getting nearly enough results for the effort you're putting in? What if that went away like tonight? And what if you became alive again? What if your energy became contagious again? Like, how would your life change if you had contagious energy? Living that way makes success so much easier. And I can't get into it in 1 hour, but I can give you one tip to make it so much easier. You got time for one more, guys? Okay. I call this the secret sauce. You might know it as genuine gratitude. Okay, so write this down. It is impossible to feel pain when you're grateful. Impossible. And I mean deep gratitude, not the BS gratitude where you're saying, oh my God, I'm so stressed, but I'm going to count my blessings and my kids are awesome. That is not actual gratitude. That's you rationalizing why you're doing okay. That's not real gratitude. It is impossible to feel pain when you're deeply grateful. It's like the same thing as jumping up and down in the mirror naked and trying to be depressed at the same time. It's not going to work. So pain in life is guaranteed. It's coming. You're going to drop in rank or miss success level or miss this. That's okay. Suffering from that pain is your choice. It's up to you. It is optional. But when you're grateful, it attracts people to you. It makes those challenges so much easier to overcome because people want to be part of your life. Like, how many of you feel magnetized to what I'm saying? There's a reason for that. It's from gratitude. Opportunities and situations and solutions come to you so much faster when you're grateful for what you already have. Remember, seeing your current good is the fastest way to increase more good. So you attract things to your life when you appreciate the life you already have. Think about this. You're watching a video about mindset from anywhere in the world. You're probably, at a desk or on your phone in a safe apartment. You probably have a blanket on. You're probably going to turn on New Girl or Friends or Breaking Bad or Haunting of Hill House on your Apple TV tonight, whatever it is. And most of you take that for granted when there's literally a mother out there that's going to watch her baby starve to death tonight. When there are people out there injecting needles into their arm to cope with pain. When there are countries that live in communism. When most of the world lives on $2.50 a day, $900 a year, if you can't pay your electric bill, you are rich beyond measure. You're so accustomed to the miracles happening around you every day that you don't even see them as miracles anymore. Most of you view miracles as scarce and don't appreciate how literally everything around you was once a thought or an idea. This team was once an idea that Micah had. That's it. It was just that would be really cool if. That's all it is. That's all it was, which proves that you can create miracles just like that any second of any day. We have the tendency to let go of gratitude and make it a rule that we can only be happy if something happens. And just like we talked about a few minutes ago, that is setting you up for suffering. Listen to me loud and clear. This is the most important line of this entire talk. Nothing has to happen for you to be happy. Nothing. And as long as you structure your life in a way where your happiness is dependent on a goal or something you don't totally control, or what someone says, you will never be fulfilled in the way that you desire. Even if you have a ton of success, you could be winning at life and feel like you're losing because the scorecard you're using is unfair, because it only allows you to feel happy if something happens. And because this is a team of achievers, how many of you have felt that hollow success where you achieve, but it doesn't feel like much to you and you don't know why? There is a reason for it, because achievement without gratitude is total failure. You are breathing. You are alive. That should be enough to smile about. And if you're smiling, business becomes easier. Like, a lot of you have these expectations, right? These really high expectations of your spouse, your kids, your team, your volume, your sales. And when your life conditions don't match up with what you want it to be, or where you are right now isn't where you want to be, you get frustrated, right? Like, you have these rules of what needs to happen before you can be happy. That needs to be let go of tonight. It needs to be a regular practice to practice gratitude. And like I said, real gratitude, not BS gratitude. Your view of life literally determines your future. So every single day, condition your mind to be grateful, and slowly the anxiety, the overwhelm, the depression, the fear, the negative self-talk, it's going to go away and you're not going to notice as much anymore. You're going to become excited every single day. I went through a period of time in my life for 4 or 5 years where I knew what I wanted so bad. But I'd find myself on the couch, type yes if you can relate to this, where I'd find myself on the couch, binge watching TV, having these like bad days, like 4 days a week. And it was terrible. I knew like exactly what I needed to do. Like, my laptop was staring at me going, bro, change your life. And I knew exactly what I needed to do, but I just didn't care. But I cared so much at the same time, and it hurt. And I was depressed, and even worse, I was pissed off at myself that I was depressed, if that makes sense. And from practicing what I teach in Appreciation Academy, those periods of anxiety and depression and perfection and guilt and perfection and guilt and perfection and guilt and depression and sadness and anger and fear turned from 4 times a week to 1 time a week, then 1 time every month, then 1 time every 6 months, 1 time every year. And now my natural default setting is happiness. And guess what? It's created success because I was happy first. And yes, I still get days once in a blue moon where I still get the whole woe is me, like poor me, depressed, useless that day. I'm human, everyone does. But I can get out of it in 2-3 minutes using gratitude. In fact, what I learned from one of my mentors, Tony Robbins, and I'm going to show you how to do this, is that you can solve any problem in your life or your business in 2-3 minutes using gratitude. This is something I learned from him. I do not take credit for this. It's just so powerful that I need to share it with you. So go somewhere where you will allow yourself to be totally vulnerable. If your kids are around, ask them to leave for a minute. If you know that you're not going to play all out if your camera is on, I'm telling you, turn your camera off. Be present, turn the chat off, turn your phone off. Be present in the room for the next 5 minutes. These 5 minutes can change your entire life if you allow them to. Okay, so get somewhere, take 15 seconds, go. And as you're doing that, start to think of a moment that stresses you out on a scale of 1 to 10, 7, 8, 9, 10. Something really stressful, like something that like you just can't seem to get through. You don't know why you can't get through it. It's held you back in some way and you just feel stuck. And stuck is that word that comes to your mind. It's stressing you out. 7, 8, 9, 10. Raise your hand if you have your stressor, just so I can see. Everyone got their stressor, the thing that's stressing them out? Okay, good. Everyone somewhere where they can be alone, fully vulnerable? Okay, close your eyes. And keep your eyes closed until I tell you to open them. It's gonna be 3, 4, 5 minutes, okay? Keep them closed. I'm telling you, play all out here. Take a deep breath in your nose. Deep breath in your nose. Exhale out your mouth. Deep breath in your nose again. Exhale out your mouth. And notice how your breath has calmed your mind. And now take both your hands and physically put them on your heart. Sit up straight, sit up nice and tall. Physically put both your hands on your heart and breathe deep into your heart. Like as you breathe, imagine the air going in your nose, through your heart, and back out your mouth. In your nose, through your heart, back out your mouth. Actually, just trust me on this. Breathe deep into your heart and feel the power of it for a second. Think of what your heart has guided you to do in this life, to give, to be, to become. Where is your life now because this heart is beating in your chest? Your heart beats 100,000 times a day without you having to work for it. As long as it beats, you live. It's a gift. You didn't have to buy your heart. You didn't have to earn it. God, the universe, whatever you believe in, thought enough of you to give you this gift of life the moment you were born. You have inherent worth. So take a second, breathing deep in your heart, just feeling so grateful for the power of it and the fact that you have this gift of life that you can treasure, and just say thank you for it. Just appreciate it. Just love it. And stack on that overwhelming gratitude to your heart for a second and feel it and appreciate it and treasure it because it's a gift. And now with your eyes still closed, go to a memory at any stage, any moment, anytime. 10 years ago could be today that you're deeply, deeply grateful for. Is it when you got married? Is it when you said I do? Is it when you had your first kid? What's that moment for you? It can be anything, small or big, something you can feel so grateful for. And just see that moment all over again. Instead of seeing it from the outside, go back and relive that memory for a second. See what you saw then, hear what you heard then, feel what you felt then, right now, like it's happening all over again, right in front of you, experiencing it in the first person, and just love it and appreciate it. And think of all it led to in your life and stack that on top of your heart and try to double the amount of appreciation for that memory and just soak in it for a second and see the exact same things. Let that smile creep out your face a little bit and just feel so much genuine gratitude for your heart and for that first amazing memory. And now go to a second memory. What's a second memory? A moment, any stage, anytime, same thing that you can feel grateful for, another memory. And just appreciate it. Same thing. See what you saw then. Hear what you heard then. Feel it all over again. Hold that hand all over again. Kiss him the same way all over again. What's that experience all over again, right in front of you, like it's happening right now again? And just cherish it. Just love it. Just appreciate it and stack it on top of your heart. And now think of a coincidence, something that you didn't expect to happen, where it was just a surprise, or maybe a problem that turned into something amazing, or just a coincidence, something where you didn't expect it to happen, but something amazing came from it. You were in line at Starbucks and you met the love of your life. You didn't mean to get pregnant and now you have an amazing family. You got a message on Facebook and now you have a thriving business. What's that coincidence for you that you can treasure and love and think of all it led to? Was it really a coincidence, or were you being guided the entire time? It's really, really amazing when you can realize that life is always happening for you and not to you. Even the problems are gifts if you grow from them. So take a second and stack on that coincidence to your heart and just breathe it in and think of all it led to in your life and cherish it for a second and just say the two most powerful words, thank you. Just say thank you and appreciate it. And now let it overwhelm you. Let it overwhelm you with gratitude. Sit up nice and tall, breathing deep in your nose, through your heart, back out your mouth. Let it overwhelm you with gratitude and appreciation. That gratitude for your heart beating 100,000 times a day. The gratitude for that first memory. Feel it all over again. That gratitude for that second memory. That gratitude for the coincidence, and feel it all together. And now double that intensity of appreciation and love it and cherish it. And just say thank you. And from this state, go back to that stressor that you forgot about. Go back to that stressor, and from your heart, and not your head, from your heart, from this deep state of gratitude from your heart, think of that stressor and repeat these words in your own mind. In this situation, all I need to remember is blank. In this situation, all I need to do is blank. In this situation, all I need to say is blank. Because when you live in gratitude, your heart already knows the answer to your most challenging problems. You guys can open your eyes. Type yes if you felt something powerful from that experience. If you felt like you found direction in a time of challenge. Think about what that could do for your life if that is how you woke up every single day. You have one shot at this life. One. Most people go through life trying to stay safe, never really going for it. You are not that person. You could be done here any moment, but your clock on life is ticking. At any moment it could run out. You don't control the length of your life, but you do control its depth and its meaning. You were not put here to experience mediocrity. You were not put here to feel stuck. You were meant to take your pain and make it mean something amazing. I took the pain of my past, my limiting beliefs, and turned it into an amazing tool to help people get unstuck, help people overcome the negative self-talk and limiting beliefs getting in their way. You just have to learn how to harness it, because right now you are exactly where you need to be to learn what you need to learn to live the life you're meant to live. The outcome you're looking for isn't the answer. The journey you're on is the answer. The life you're living right this second is the answer. And when you see it that way and you're grateful for the lessons you learn and you're grateful for the challenges you face, amazing things start to happen. So instead of just knowing that, all you have to do to radically change your life is instill this into who you are. And when you do, game over. You'll crush any goal you want. You won't be stuck anymore. And you began that process. But can you imagine how the world would change if this is how you woke up? This is how you handled challenge? This is how you handled adversity? This is how you went to bed? What if this was your default setting? This call isn't going to be here tomorrow. This motivation isn't going to be around tomorrow. You're not going to have someone taking you through a gratitude exercise every day. So what if you could instill this into who you are? And if that's something that you feel you could genuinely benefit from, Micah and I have prepared something incredible for you to learn how to do it. If you've ever been pushing so hard, and by the way, my goal is not to sell you something. This is real, guys. This has changed hundreds of Beachbody coaches' lives. If you've ever been pushing so hard for a goal and it feels like it's getting further and further away, or it seems so much easier for other people, and you just keep hearing hit Success Club, it'll happen, but it's not happening. You have all these trainings, showing you how to invite and use Instagram stories and they're not working. You notice that even when you achieve goals, you feel hollow inside and don't know why. And some days maybe you're sending 200 invites, some days you're not sending any, and you're sitting there on the couch just scrolling social media. If you can't figure out what the hell is stopping you from having success and most importantly, happiness, I've created a course that will break you through all of it, that will finally get you unstuck and will teach you how to be happy because happiness creates success. And I mean all of it. The reason you feel stuck is because you have inner conflict that needs to be resolved. I know this because I lived it. Negative self-talk, limiting beliefs, lack of worth. All those things are keeping you in the same spot. And you've heard the cliche, change your thinking, change your life. This course teaches you how to change your thinking, how to be happy, how to attract success instead of repel it. And because your leader is so amazing, we have arranged a massive discount on the program. I'm sure you guys know who Jen Richardson is, 15-star diamond coach, Million Club member, 4-time elite coach, says about this program, and I quote, "This is the missing link that every Beachbody coach needs to finally see success in their business." And I can go on and on with testimonials. They're on the page, but it's beyond that. This won't just affect your business. It's your entire life. Marriage, business, bank account, happiness, stress level, everything. This course will rip away the layers of pain, preventing you from being the coach and more importantly, the person and spouse you're meant to be. It's not a business training, but it will teach you how to have success in your business because you'll learn how to be happy. It's not something on Instagram stories you're inviting. Those courses will not work until you fix what's going on up here. It will teach you how to finally believe in yourself, how to silence the demons, and how to become magnetic. Like we talked about, business and success will not bring you happiness. Happiness will bring you success. And it's the only course I've ever seen that teaches you how to be happy. This course is how I went from stuck on the couch, wanting my life to change, but not having the drive to do it. And even when I did take action, it never worked. And when I achieved goals, it felt hollow. It's 6 years of personal growth packed into it. And the results of all these coaches speak for themselves. So if you felt something real, if you've been living in a memory that says you're not enough, it's time to stop believing that bullshit. It's time to stop spinning your wheels, wanting success so bad, but not experiencing this breakthrough. I know how you feel because I lived it and I broke that pattern. And in this course, I will show you how I did it. Appreciation Academy will get you unstuck. That is my promise to you. So Micah is going to share a Google form and an image in the team page after the call. If you'd like to work together as a team, grow together as a team, make this your default setting for 2019 and get the discounted rate for this program, fill out that form tonight. And then tomorrow morning, I'm going to send you an email with a discount code for you to enroll. And the more and more people that enroll, the cheaper and cheaper it gets. So if you're one of the first people that dive in, you'll get refunded based on the total number of people that dive in. So it encourages us to grow together. And I want you to know, this is not something where I put you in a group and just disappear. I am literally there for you every step of the way. You can ask any of my clients. I'm fully committed to your growth. So before we hop off, I want to turn it back to Micah. She's going to share why she believes this is a good idea. And just, guys, thank you for the privilege to serve you. Thank you for listening, and thank you for applying this to your life. So Micah, back to you, my friend.
Thank you so much. You guys, how good was that? Oh my gosh. Okay, Rick, watch out. He's my hurricane. Okay, really quickly, you guys. I kind of pound my head over and over, like, what can I do better to help my team? What can I do better to give them resources and give them this? And you have scripts and you have flows and you have this and you have every freaking thing that I do to grow a superstar to team. The only difference between you and I is our mindset. I have worked on it for 5.5 years. I am probably at a different place than a lot of you are. And until you grow your mindset, your belief, your confidence, your everything that is going on up in here, nothing else matters. No script, no anything. So if you invest in anything this year, you guys, make it your own personal growth, because it will legit change your life, not just your business. It will change your life. So I'm super pumped that we're kicking off the year with this. I'll post all the stuff. I'll post his graphic. You guys can check it out. But like, I fully, like 100% am on board with this. I'm super fired up about it. So thank you so much for adding value to our team and for helping us kick off with a bang. All right. Bye, you guys.